Let's talk real quick. So a couple weeks ago, I was sitting in my car outside this coffee shop. I had my engine off, a drink in my cup holder, my playlist playing, and then I had gotten some big news, some news that I was waiting on for a while. It was good news, and I've been grinding for this to come. And you know, you think I'd be hype, celebrating, calling people, feeling a type of way, but I didn't, I wasn't. I kind of just sat there feeling, I don't know, numb, tired. I wasn't mad, I wasn't sad, I wasn't happy, I wasn't none of that. I was just kind of, and I remember thinking like, I thought this was gonna feel different. I thought that, I was gonna feel something, but that was the moment something hit me. I had been chasing outcomes instead of alignment. Like I've been filling my schedule, but not my soul. I had success, but I didn't have fulfillment. And that moment began a long journey for me, not just toward becoming more successful, but becoming more whole, more present, more aligned with God. And He made me who I need to be. Still working on that. But today, I just want to talk about, you know, chasing fulfillment and not just status, about finding peace that doesn't come from achievement, but from connection to yourself, to your purpose, and to God. So first off, fulfillment comes from within and not from applause. The world will continue to tell you that you need to just work hard, and if you do that enough, if you level up enough, you glow up enough, then you'll feel whole. The truth is, you can get all of the likes, all of the followers, all of the money, all the validation, but you'll still end up feeling like something's missing. And that's because real fulfillment doesn't come from people clapping for you. It comes from being able to sit with God and say, I'm walking in what you called me to, even if nobody else sees it. And that right there is peace. You gotta be honest with yourself. You can't be fulfilled in a life that isn't yours and living a life that isn't yours. There's so many of us are walking past that we didn't even choose. We're out here chasing dreams and, you know, things we picked up from TikTok, our parents and random expectations, and wondering why our souls feel so disconnected. But God didn't create you to copy someone else's blueprint. He gave you a unique calling, a voice, a heartbeat, a burden. And if you want real fulfillment, then you gotta get honest about what stirs your spirit. You gotta be able to ask yourself, like, what breaks your heart in a holy way? What excites you even if it doesn't make sense to others? What would you still do even if that thing never went viral? Those kind of questions. Because that is where purpose starts. And that's where God will meet you at. Purpose will always be better than performance. The world is performance obsessed, but the kingdom of God doesn't run on hustle, it runs on calling. God doesn't need your perfection, He wants your obedience. And you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to be the smartest, you don't have to be the fastest, you don't have to be the flashiest. You just need to be able to say yes to the thing that God has placed within you. And trust that He's going to fill in the gaps. And you're not performing for the world anymore at that point. At that point, you're walking with your Creator. that is fulfillment. And it's gonna take time, but slowness isn't laziness. It's sacred. God isn't in a rush. Like look at how he made the world, right? One day at a time with rest built in, but we live like we're on this timer. Like if we're not moving fast, then we're failing. What people tend to not realize is that God sometimes will call you to slow down. He will call you to be still, to make room for him to speak, to realign. And within that stillness is where healing happens. And it's where, identity settles in. That's where you remember you're not what you do, but you are who you are in him. But don't be afraid to be able to move slow, because God does deep work in those quiet seasons. And fulfillment grows in community as well. So, like, it's hard to, I'll be honest, it's hard to stay aligned when you're isolated. But then you have all these distractions. Your mind is going, different places and you want to do different things. But God didn't design us to do life alone. So that quiet time is important, but don't isolate yourself too much. People need people, and people need real people. People who are going to remind you who you are when you forget. People who don't just cheer you on, a bunch of yes men, but instead they walk with you. They pray with you. They challenge you. They cover you. And if you've got even like one person, first off, thank them and thank God for them. Because a lot of people don't have that yet. And, if you don't have that yet, pray for them. Because community is often the missing piece to personal peace. That person will stick with you usually through every step of the way. And that's another important thing to keep in mind. It's not a journey, it's more of a destination. Because fulfillment isn't just like this one moment where everything clicks and you suddenly feel complete, but it's more of a process. It's a walk, a daily decision to stay close to God, stay honest with yourself, and keep growing into who you were created to be. Some days you're gonna feel on fire, and then some days you're gonna feel unsure. But every step along the way, even the messy ones, can still be in purpose if you're walking with God. So, yeah, back to that day in the car. Yeah, I didn't have a lightning bolt moment, but I did indeed have clarity, and I felt God whispering, not audibly, but like, deep in my spirit. Felt him saying that you're made for more than performing, and you were made for me. And I'm not looking at your success, I'm looking at your heart. And that right there is what I felt to be the shift. So ever since that day, a couple weeks ago, I feel like I've been less interested in looking successful and more interested in living faithful. More interested in alignment than applause. More interested in becoming who God had made me to be, even if it takes time. Because I know it's going to take time. So, I don't know, maybe that's what he's whispering to you too. And you don't need to have it all together. You just need to stay rooted, stay open, stay connected to the one who knows you best. You don't need to chase the version or the world's version of of winning, because in him, fullness isn't found at the finish line, it's found within the journey. But that's all I got.